Hello, welcome to my live. I hope you are doing well. Oh, it's God's magic. I hope everyone's doing good today. Excuse me. Welcome to the live. Today we're going to be talking about distance is not punishment. Let me know who you are in here so I can acknowledge you properly. Um, so when you distance yourself from any toxic family or any toxic friends, any type of situation where you kind of have to distance yourself. I wish Tequila was on this live because um, it'd have been awesome for 2 point of views. But hello, good evening, good morning, hello Becky. So when we distance ourselves, or when we feel that in the spirit we're being told that we have to distance ourselves from the crowd that we're used to hanging out with and adapting to, um, there's usually a very, very big spiritual reason why distance comes in, and it's either because they're blocking your blessings, they're a hindrance, or because someone is literally trying to destiny swap with you, or it just might be that the path you're going, they cannot go with you. They can come halfway, but they cannot go to the fullest extent with you because of their their spiritual energy that's blocking you. So distancing is not a punishment for people. Like, it's something for me in my experience, in my spirituality, in my path, um, that I don't use just to threaten somebody. I don't really speak words before I do actions. I kind of do the action first and then talk about it. So when I distance myself from somebody, it's to protect my energy, protect my blessings, protect what is unseen and seen in the spirit. So if anyone is struggling with distancing and how it could be wrong and this, and this, Jesus made boundaries. hmm Everyone in the Bible made boundaries with distancing. Okay, it might have been in a different way, but it's still distancing. So distance is actually very powerful because it blocks out all outside influences. It blocks out anyone outside your main intermediate. You know, it blocks any words of the enemy or any spiritual enemies that we cannot see, especially when you're minimizing your information. When you're minimizing your information, the spiritual enemies cannot get anything because you're not putting it out there. Because that distance is right there, that disconnect is there. It's not a punishment. I don't go up to someone and be like, I'm going to distance myself from you. No, there's five whole things that can come out my mouth before even the words distance even get there. It could be like, okay, I'm distancing myself for a healthy mindset. Nothing to do with you. It's for me. Or it could be a spiritual reason like, okay, I'm distancing myself because you are not wanting to spiritually transform, which everyone's comfortable staying in their old ways and the way they used to be, and their same problems over and over and over and over and over and over and over. But baby, when you distance yourself from the influences that keep you stuck in the same thing, you're going to break free on a more idealistic approach. Like, you're not going to come off as them, if that makes any sense. So when you distance yourself, it's not punishment from anybody. This could be any for anybody. This ain't just for me, because I've distanced myself a lot from a lot of people that I loved just because their spiritual ties and generational curses and everything was of trying to attach itself to me, and I'm not a person to take on. I don't like people who destiny swap and try to bring their burdens onto me when I am literally like, whoa. So distance is very powerful. It's not a punishment. It's not nothing against the person. It's a spiritual attribute of your spirituality that's being hindered or manifesting in your other life, like in how everyday life. So distance is very powerful in a lot of ways. But when me personally, when I distance myself from somebody, I don't ever tell them, "Oh, because you're the problem." I don't say that. And a lot of the times they're not. It's just because they are not. We're not on the same level. And anytime I conversate, there's going to be, like, I have like my cousin. I have a cousin who thinks she knows everything, and this is not disrespectful to her or nothing like that. This is just me being blunt. Like, she is very strong in her ways, not anybody else's ways, but her ways. So distance between us that I've had to done and do is because we are on different spiritual paths, and I'm at a place of surrender where she's at a place of control. So I'm not talking about her. She knows I talk about this stuff with people. She knows I do her readings all the time. So I mean, she's a cousin. So the spirits that are deceased in the spirit are going to come forward to me anyway because it's blood. So she's like the only one in the bloodline that I talk to. Distance is a very powerful thing. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I have not spoke to my biological, like, intermediate, or just people in general in that family. I have not talked to them in like over 9 years. So possibly, 10 years. So distance is a very powerful thing. It's not a punishment because, baby, sometimes the spirit of deception is so powerful that people just give into it without even realizing or being aware of their decisions and actions and what comes out their mouth. You know, a lot of legalistic religion is like that. A lot of legalistic religion operates under a spirit of deception, and it causes a lot of us to be distant from that family because they don't want to accept what's really going on. I have a whole testimony I might tell from, I kind of want to share some parts of that, but I kind of want to wait. It's probably going to be posted on my Patreon. But the whole point is that distance is not a punishment to harm others or to make them regret even having you in your presence. Because that's not how it's approached psychologically. When you distance yourself from somebody, the physical problem is your immune system's not recognizing what's happening. It's still in flight or fight mode. But in the spiritual matter, what is operating through them to get to you? What is operating in their mind and in their heart? Are they saying genuine words to you? You feel this energy. We all have spiritual gifts. You can feel the energy off of someone's words and if they're genuine or not. So with our discernment deep in our soul, sometimes we like to ignore it, but sometimes distance is the answer. But distance is not the punishment. This is no way of a consequence for something that I'm going to punish you for. My intent when I cut you off or distance myself from you is not to punish you. It is to help you. It is to give you space, get your own stability and spiritual foundation set up. I'm not God. I can't help you do that. I can guide you to the right direction, but I can't. Here's this pen that you need. Here's this that you need. Here's this. Here's that. I can guide you, and my point is, when guidance comes in, sometimes it comes to distance. Trust me, I don't like distancing myself sometimes because it'll be a lot of people that I'll be with back in the past, like a lot of times being just randomly with them. And I hear God speak to me, distance yourself. And I'll be like, oh, okay. So whenever I hear to distance myself, I do it. I don't even hesitate. Because first, you got to just go ahead and jump for it. Because God, you got to take a leap of faith. Because if you have no faith, then what are you doing? Because faith is about taking risk, seeing what you can't see, believing in it, going after it in the spirit. And the thing is, with generational things that happen in your life, you have generational angels and spirits that will help you in your bloodline to get where you need to be with God or wherever you need to be with your deity. That way you can ascend into a better spiritual energy, a spiritual state, a spiritual, more of a spiritual awakening, even though you already went through it. Sometimes you have a more spiritual awakening when it comes to breaking stuff off yourself and seeing that you are just around people who had the same problems as you, but they're 10 times intensified. So you kind of have to peel the layer by layer by layer by layer by layer. And that's where distance comes in sometimes for some people. Distance can be used in 2 ways. That's just me. There's been times where I've had to distance myself out of spiritual foundation, out of protecting my energy, out of withdrawing from the toxicity that I was around, not wanting to ever open the door for that to come back in. So there's one of those. Distance can be for your literally mental health. Another version of distancing yourself could be literally at the fact that someone is playing in your face and you're like, so you immediately tell them, oh, well, I'll talk to you when I talk to you, and you distance yourself from them. That is a punishment. But you just don't want to get caught up in it. Now, some people do distance as punishment. I will say that I've seen people, well, okay, you won't talk to me no more. Goodbye. Like, I've seen that before. And I'm just like, Okay. Everyone's different. Everyone's on their spiritual path. I have no right to judge. What I'm just saying is people don't play now. Like, a lot of us are spiritually gifted, and we're going to see the phony, the fake, you know. I wish Tequila was on this with me, but she's probably sleeping. I want her to come on with me because she knows what I'm talking about when I say distance is not a punishment. It's not for you, baby. It is for us to get our peace. I probably went all over the place with this. It's okay. It's not. I'm not even here about trying to perform anyway. I don't care about performance. I just go after it. So, yes, distance is not a punishment because distance can also be a psychological factor to helping people stimulate their growth in their mind and their conscious and their heart. It can stimulate all kinds of psychological withdrawal from a lot of negative energy, a lot of toxic stuff. Also, the spiritual side is it's also withdrawal from any evil or deceiving spirits or any manipulating spirits or any type of spirits that would hinder your progress with God. When you distance yourself, all of it comes and withdraws out of you, and you start relearning communication. You start learning all these things that God wants you to work on, so that way you can still continue to grow in your path with Him. And that's the thing. Distance is not a solution to fix a problem. It is a solution for peace, a solution for everyone to get along, because some people are oil and water. That's just how it works. And sometimes they don't stay together forever. They'll sit there for that 1 minute and they'll separate. That's usually how it goes. So whenever it comes to distancing yourself from people, family, uncles, great aunts, you have to be willing to be alone. That's one that I have really loved. That sounds bad, but I love being alone. So I don't have a problem with being left out of situations or anything like that, because I've distanced myself so much in my life that I don't have to sit here and be like, oh my God, I don't have that struggle because I love being alone. Like, what is so wrong with that? Why? You know what I mean? So distance is not a punishment, baby. It is for me, because my guide, excuse me, because my guides have shown me that I need to work on me, and I can't do it with you, because you are going to be hindering, not on purpose, not intentionally, not to stop me, but the spirits that you have attached to you can. So that's where you really have to come on the spiritual enemies, seen, unseen. Distance is not a punishment, y'all. Distance is not a punishment. See, I love doing this, but I go so many. This is why I love editing. I mean, I love lives. I haven't done it in a while. I've been doing it all for the last 2 weeks now. But I love editing. I'm probably about to get back into editing videos because I love being able to talk like this. But when I do a video, if I were to title a video "Distance is not a Punishment," I would be able to have more bullet points and more edited version, a more basically sticking to the whole point. Because me, y'all know I go everywhere from one place to another talking about distance is not a punishment. There's 2 types of distances. I'm going to go through the physical, psychological, and the spiritual attributes of everything that you do in your life with your decisions that affect the natural realm and also affect the spiritual. So, yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here and talk about distance is not a punishment. Sometimes distance is your answer. Distance is your breakthrough. Distance is your clarity. Sometimes your blessings that you're waiting on won't pop in until you have some type of distance in your life. And that sucks, because sometimes that means complete surrender and starting over again. Sometimes it don't. Sometimes it means you can just walk on through. But anywho, so I will let you guys know about next week. I think I'm going to have some videos scheduled for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week. I haven't posted on my Patreon. I did post 1 video. So I have been taking a break from everything and just kind of, trying to get stuff together, because we got some stuff going on here. Like rearranging, organizing, putting things away we don't need, stuff like that, because we're trying to get everything organized to the point to where we don't even have to know where anything is. We just automatically know. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to jump off it here. I know this is a little late, so no one's probably going to really see it, but that's, I'm not performing. I can sit here and talk to nobody. I don't know what it is, but I love edited versions so much. But So Friday will probably be my stop at doing lives every day, and it'll be recorded videos. So I'll be working on that probably this weekend, and if not, I'll probably be live Monday, and then the rest of the week will be edited videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live. I come on here just for literally just to talk about how, distance is not a punishment for people. So I just didn't want to stay on here for an hour because I know a lot of you are probably in bed. A lot of you are probably going to sleep for work, or some of you are probably getting up for work and going to work. I don't know your times and dates. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just remember that distance is not a punishment for people. It's for you. Distancing yourself is for you. It is not for anybody else. It is not for punishing anybody else. It is not for hurting anybody else. It's not for showing how hurtful you can be. It's not to try to get back at someone. I mean, this is just in my path. I mean, a lot of people can do distancing and punishing all they want, but it's just really a waste of time because you're really doing it. I mean, when you distance yourself, there's a choice you have to make. Am I doing this for myself, or am I doing this to be petty? Am I doing this for myself, or am I doing this to be mean? Am I doing this for my spirituality, or am I doing this just so this person doesn't have access to me, to miss me? Like, you know what I mean? There's two different types of distancing. The other distancing, I'm distancing myself because we can never see eye to eye. I'm distancing myself because I love you, and I want you to do you and focus on your thing. I'm distancing myself because I want to get more into my spirituality. I'm distancing myself because you're not doing the right, you're not working on what you need to work on. You're still operating out of generational curses. You're still allowing cycles to happen, and it's starting to affect me. That's where it comes into. There's like two different things. You got to make a choice. Are you being petty, or are you being genuinely worried about your own spirituality and your own path and your own walk and your own everything in your practice? So distance is not a punishment, at least to me, because everyone has their own opinion. So anyway, I love you guys, and I hope you have a good night, and I'll talk to you Friday. Yes, I will. Friday. I don't know what the video is going to be about. I'm probably going to come on a little bit earlier because there's sometimes where I can catch on. There's sometimes where I can't. It just really depends. Hello, welcome to the live. Becky Gerald. Period. I love that makeup. Let me look at it. Okay. So, sorry, I was looking at Becky's picture. It was so pretty. Okay. Alrighty. I'm getting off of here. I just wanted to come on here and talk about how distance is not a punishment. You do it for yourself, not for anybody else, to punish anybody, to hurt anybody, to abandon anybody. You just do it because there's a spiritual side to everything in the natural realm that is seen and unseen in ways that we have to tap in and see ourselves. So when God's calling you to distance yourself, I would highly recommend not thinking that it's because that person's lower than you. It's definitely just because they got their stuff that they got to take care of, and you could be a possible distraction, or they could be a possible distraction using you as a distraction to not actually face their issues. Distancing yourself because someone's not breaking their generational cycles, they're wanting to not change. That's not saying you don't want to, I don't want to be around you because I'm better than you. No, look, you're not working on yourself. I love you, but I'm going to go do this while you doing that because I'm on this level and I want you to be on there with me, but I'll help you get through this if I have to. But it has to be from a distance, baby, because energy is energy. Another part of it, you know what you did. You literally tried sabotaging my blessings, blah, 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 blah. This ain't a punishment. This is an action that shows you that manipulation is not going to be tolerated. I love you. I will still pray for you. I will still be here for you. But please, please, please respect my boundaries and do not come around me because you have completely showed me your true colors as a snake. There's two different... No matter how much I explain, I'm just saying the same thing over and over. Okay, I love you guys. I'm going to get off this live, and I will see you Friday. If this didn't make sense, I apologize in advance. But I love you. Bye.